Well, the responsibility of the mayor is to run the city. Everyone works for the mayor except for city council and the court system. All your policemen, firemen, emergency medical, waste collection, building and housing, all that works for the mayor. And so the mayor's job is to execute things. You can set policies, set agendas, but you have to execute the purpose of the city, which is provide city services. The council's authority and responsibility is legislative. They have the ability to legislate laws, vote on those laws, things like that. It's our job on the administrative side to enforce it and to execute it. The mayor has the responsibility of proposing a budget, and by law that budget has to be balanced, and the council's obligation is to pass a balanced budget. Now there may be differences as to what the details are, but both have an obligation to have a balanced budget by a certain time, April 1st of every year. And whenever there's an expenditure of dollars, where we have a contract or where we have to expend dollars in certain areas, the council has to pass appropriation legislation that appropriates the dollars and for the administration to spend the money to execute on the contract or to provide that particular service.
So as Chief of Sustainability, I report to Mayor Jackson, and I have a few primary roles. My goals are to save the city money, reduce our environmental footprint, and increase the health and well-being of Cleveland residents, visitors, and people who work here. And I have a few main jobs. I implement Mayor Jackson's Sustainable Cleveland 2019 initiative, and that's his 10-year program to design and develop Cleveland as a thriving and resilient green city on a blue lake. And I have two major plans that myself and my staff use to do that. We have our Climate Action Plan, which is a plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions 80% by the year 2050 through about 33 different actions in energy efficiency, renewable energy, land use, clean water, waste reduction, and community engagement, public health. And then we have something called the Municipal Action Plan, which is about greening actual city operations. So this building, the airport, the water company, our local sewer system, our municipal electric utility, all the recreation centers, all of those buildings and operations have an environmental footprint. And so we try to lead by example, and we have 26 actions in that plan we're trying to do. So for example, we're launching a recycling contest here in City Hall. So my staff did a waste audit. We got the custodial staff to bag and tag everything from all the offices one day after work. We didn't tell anybody we were going to do this.
It's a secret.
And then we got out of scale, and we got rubber gloves on, and we sorted through everybody's trash and recyclables to see how they're doing. Are they recycling properly? Are they keeping recycling out of the trash and trash out of the recyclables? And then we issued a report where we showed who's doing the best, who's doing the worst. Where there's areas for improvement, we're actually going to do a contest, and the most improved department gets, a pizza party and a prize. So we do things like that, and then we do big projects, and we're trying to develop a solar farm on an old landfill that the city owns. So how can we take a landfill that's capped and do something useful with it and productive and sustainable? So all over the map, but I'm never bored, and it's really fun.
As Director of Aging, I am responsible for the operation of the department, and I have to ensure that we have the budget to run the department for the different programs, and that sometimes includes going outside of City Hall to get grants. And we write grant proposals and submit them to foundations for funding, then ensure that all our programs run well and that the seniors that take part in those services get a quality service and what they need. What are the challenges and responsibilities of my department? The Department of Aging works to help older persons in Cleveland, remain as independent as possible. So we develop services and programs and get money through grants to provide those things that older persons need so they can remain at home in their own home.
Our purpose is to get the news out to the citizens of the city of Cleveland. We want to make sure everyone stays informed as to what's happening, what's new, what's developing in our city.
So I've been the chair of the Transportation Committee for, I think, probably about 5 years. The primary responsibility is to make sure that the airports, both Cleveland Hopkins International Airport and Burke Lakefront Airport, continue to operate efficiently and provide a good service to both the recreational traveler and the business traveler that is really important to our vibrancy and to our momentum, is to get people in easily, safely, and without too much inconvenience, so they'll come back again.
To improve the quality of life of the people that live, work, play, and worship in the city of Cleveland, and to pass legislation on behalf of both the public and private sector to make the city of Cleveland a better place to live, work, play, and worship.
The most challenging part is managing BS. Yes. The other part of making decisions and knowing which decisions to make and the challenges of what the major issues are, that's, I can do all that. It's, and when you get in positions like this, it's about filtering the BS that takes up a lot of time.
What is the hardest part of my job as safety director? It's the most difficult part of the job is dealing with the tragedies that take place in the city. You know, the human suffering, that's the greatest challenge, because it impacts me, it impacts everybody, but it's the hardest part, is just dealing with the tragedies that take place in the city and the emotional drama and the hurt families.
Challenges. The challenges are our staffing is low, our equipment is older. So to deliver the service, you have to have those things constant. But what you have to do is you have to make your mind up when you come to work, knowing that those things are challenges, and that you have to get this job done. Then you have to put people in place that will get those things done, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of whether you're short 10 people or short 100 people. That you have to make sure that people are working toward that common goal, and that's to deliver the services to the people of the city of Cleveland. So being part of that makes you feel good about getting that job done.
My hardest challenge presently is the vacant and abandoned houses that we have in the neighborhood. A lot of them, in 2008, when the housing market collapsed, people walked away from their homes because they owed more on the house than it was worth, so they walked away from it. And throughout the city, we have about 25,000 of those homes. In my ward, I have 1,200. And that's the biggest challenge, because once they become vacant and vandalized, they're a breeding ground for perverts and all the kind of stuff that are not conducive to a good neighborhood. It's a big challenge.
The best part about being mayor is having the ability to set direction, set policies, and establish agendas for the movement of the city.
By far, the best part of being head of CMSD is working with you guys. It's every time I have a bad day, I just go to schools and spend some time with my scholars, and I come out feeling a lot better. That's by far the best part.
The best part of my job? People, the community, dealing with the people, talking to the people, interacting with the people. It's all about the people. That is the best part of the job whatsoever.